Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, but adventurers. Welcome back to Spade Gal's Original, the channel with many original contents, such as script stories, vlogs, and arts. And today, I, Jake Spins, will be doing art. But before we get into what this video is going to be, we also have Spade Gals Productions with gaming and boxing that you can check out. It is my main channel, so that's where you will find most of the content. Now, if you don't remember, let me refresh you if you don't remember the screen. We ended up doing an Alolan Pokemon challenge art video sort of thing, where I took a Kanto Pokemon and put a random number generator to select said Pokemon, then made my own Alolan form of that Pokemon. In that video, we did get Scyther. Now, we have done another video of Bowsette, which was my choice, and I felt that, you know what, it's been a little while since we've done this, and, I mean, it's almost time for the Halloween season to be over, but I want to get that jab in there just before it ends, because if I can, that would be fantastic. So, the rules are going to be changed in this video. Instead of making necessarily an Alolan Pokemon, we're going to make whatever Pokemon this is. Technically, it would be Alolan, but either a Ghost or a Dark type added on. Doesn't matter what Pokemon. There might be some Pokemon that I just turned down because either they have an Alolan form, I already did it, like if we get Scyther again, or it's Mr. Mime. I'm not doing a Halloween version of Mr. Mime, okay? And you might be like, why aren't you just doing this in November because of Let's Go? Well, we're going to have a lot of Pokemon on that side of YouTube anyway. And also that'll open up a slot for me to do art stuff on SGO. But also, I have somebody helping me out with the layout for Let's Go in November. So don't worry, Pokemon art will be a thing that you do see in November. Anyway, though, seriously, I need to press this because 9 is not the number. That's just what appeared when it was like 1 to 10. So let's see, what Pokemon do we get? Place your well, you can't because it'll be in the thumbnail and the title. I hate that my brain does that because I don't know, but you know. 105. How many high fives is that Pokemon? Let's find out. It's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Except less candy. Unless you're playing Pokemon Go, technically. But then you wouldn't be licking the candy, because that would be weird, because nobody knows the origins of Pokemon candy. And I seem to always make everything worse for myself. And that is Marowak, which Marowak has an Alolan form. So that means we won't be doing that. We'll be doing 21. Why could it have been like 106 or something? Oh my gosh. Okay, 21, which is who now? 21 is Sparrow. Okay, here's the thing. I don't really think I could make a Halloween Sparrow, kind of. And I'm not trying to be very picky, but like, let's just go one more time, see what we get. Okay, so it's either Sparrow or 58. I swear if it's Mr. Mime, I'm going to just completely give up. Okay, it's Growlithe. I feel like I can do an Alolan, like a spooky Growlithe. It's interesting because it isn't like Arcanine, but let me actually show you up close, if it lets me. But there's Growlithe right there. Obviously, if we got Mankey, that would have been pretty easy. I had an idea for Magikarp, but you might be like, why didn't you just choose a Pokemon that you had an idea for if you just said no to Sparrow? The reason is because this is more fun, and then I don't know what I'm going to get, and you guys don't, well, you guys know what I'm going to get based on everything else, but the general principle is it's completely random. Sparrow, if we do this again, or if I do get him again, for just a plain Alolan form, then yes, I will do Sparrow. Or if there's enough outcry, but there won't be, because I'm not popular enough. Okay, I'm just joking. But, yeah, no, I'm just, there won't be. Anyway, though, let's go into the Growlithe making montage. So with a bit of a rocky start, we end up starting the whole entire Halloween Growlithe. Now, out of all the Pokemon that I figured I would get, this was probably not one that ever really would have come across my mind, because I kind of forgot about Growlithe, because he doesn't show up that much as far as I've seen. And also, even though it's a really good Pokemon along with Arcanine, it's just a Pokemon that I haven't seen much in general. I did have other ideas for characters such as like Magikarp, where I was going to do like a silly little thing where Magikarp would be purple and have like a cape, be like kind of a vampire inspiration. And you can see here that it looks like I'm actually starting off, but I decided that I did not enjoy how it looked. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to start over, and I'm going to have the snout very clearly embedded with the head, because I got to do this right. And also through looking at the picture of Growlithe, I noticed that, and yes, I know I'm having trouble saying its name, but looking at the neck, it's more of a seamless slide down instead of just, you know, having a neck like the general characters that I make. So that was a distinction that I definitely made sure to make. For the inspiration for this character, I really just thought of what is very Halloween-esque that I could put into it, and I kind of drew a little inspiration from the idea of Frankenstein. I was going to do something with the muzzle, but I just decided not to do it in the end. So, unfortunately, it is a little bit bigger on the right side, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You might also notice and be like, at the end, you might be just like, oh, well, Spins, why is this basically just the exact same art? But, trust me, it's not, even though it's very close to what the original Pokemon looks like, it just being green, I did not keep that. And just like in Spin's tradition, I did make a lot of mistakes putting like the eyes above the muzzle, but I do end up fixing that issue and all that. And eventually you'll notice that I did forget to, well, not forget, but I didn't put a second eye. And then I was just like, oh, well, what do I do now? Because I can't just like, you know, it's not like the circle eyes where you can copy and paste it, and then if I tried to recreate it, it might look weird, and then I didn't have much time, so I also didn't shade it, which I apologize, because I know I shaded the Scyther, and I wanted to, and even though I technically kind of had time, my worry was the fact that I wanted to make sure that I got it all done looking nice, and it looked pretty nice and decent in my opinion, so I didn't want to try to just shade it, because to be honest, shading is one of my least favorite things, even though it makes it look nice, just because you have to be so precise, you have to get the colors right. For each color it's different. For yellow, like, it's even harder to do, and for some colors, you know, you just put it 5 shades lighter and all of a sudden it looks like insanely light. So I never really know with the colors, and I have to just kind of experiment with light and dark and stuff. It just wasn't an art that I was feeling that idea. I'm also not sure where the art is, because when I did Scyther, even though it showed me exactly where it was and it seemed seamless, I actually don't know if it is, because, you know, it did a weird thing with that. But right now we're on the ears, and honestly, right now there's not really too much to talk about with this art. And I know that in general I could have just kept with the bird Pokemon that we got, but if it wasn't Halloween, I feel like I wouldn't have struggled with the idea of doing something with it, or even Growlithe. Because if it was a different type, what would I have done with it? Because, you know, Dark Fire is actually the type of Houndoom, I believe, which is Generation 4? I want to say it's Generation 4. Also, I haven't talked too much, so I do apologize. For the hair right now, because that's a good thing to talk about, instead of just doing a clean cut kind of thing in there, I ended up doing these ridges. And then, because of that, I also, the whole Frankenstein aesthetic, I decided for the hair to go a Frankenstein's wife kind of idea, because in senior year we actually watched Frankenstein, and we read the book. And I remember that one thing that has always been depicted, at least that I remember for Frankenstein's wife, is having this tall black hair with just this white line in it. You know, so that's kind of the idea for that. Sorry guys, my dad came home and I'll probably be doing a bunch of different parts. Anyway though, the inspiration of the, you know, Frankenstein, you can see definitely is more so going to be in the head, because I had that idea with the screw and stuff, and that screw made me think, okay, well, why don't I just make that second eye like a little bit of an eye patch? So then I was going to put an X on it, and then I realized when I copied and pasted it that I accidentally got rid of the patch. So then I was like, screw it, you know what, I wasn't able to do it. So then I tried doing an eye, and I think I left it at just a plain white eye. I fixed up the proportions where it would fit nicely, but then instead of going, because I actually lost the colors for the irises and stuff, I decided not to actually put anything in there, even though I was like, it'd be kind of cool, but it looked a little derpy, and I played around with it quite a lot, to be honest with you. Yeah, so generally with the eyes, I don't end up worrying about it like there. I was like, maybe I could make it a tiny little thing and make it bloodshot, but then it looked so derpy and ridiculous, and I was like, no, that doesn't work. And a lot of my arts, you know, they're my own characters, so I do it in my design. But then when I did Peach, I did the different eye, and it looked so nice, so I decided to do that for any character that wasn't mine, such as when we did Scyther, or when we did the Bowsette art. But that's pretty much where the line of me doing different things has gone. In my actual drawings, though, like I drew an elf concept today, and I gave her that type of eye. I went with the whole entire difference of making the eye, instead of just round, going with that style, and I really, really liked it because it's a different style, and it really shows that I put even more work into it, and it just makes me feel better. For the fur right here, you'll see that I tried to do some adding texture stuff, and I was like, I really can't add anything. I tried something lighter, and then I was like, you know what, I'll go a little darker. But even that, I was just like, this isn't gonna work. How it looks right now is fine, but it still looks way too much just like the original Pokemon. So because of that, as you could see in the ridges and stuff, I did actually do a few differences just to make it a little more distinct. And going into the body, you'll see there are even more stuff that I do different. Because with this Pokemon specifically, as well as Scyther, I believe, because it's not a skin tone that you get, I actually do the granite that I usually save for the hair or the clothes, because that's the entire art, so I want to make it look good. So doing that one upper body part made me be like, okay, this is where I can make it different. Frankenstein has that idea of, you know, he's in multiple parts, and I was going to play around with a stitch idea between the two parts, but then I kind of just forgot. As well, the underbelly fur, fun fact, that's actually yellow. It's actually not white. It's yellow by like 3-ish? which I think is pretty cool. And the way the paws are kind of remind me of Neopets. Do you guys remember about Neopets? We were never really big into them, but we had a friend that really, really liked Neopets. We liked the Webkins. We really weren't Neopets people. But that's kind of random, huh, to be honest. And I did notice the underbelly was kind of a bit much, but when I added that fourth body part, because when you look at it, because of the underbelly, there's actually 4 different layers there just for the body alone, minus the black fur. So that's a good 5 different things. And with the tail right here, my inspiration for that was the idea of a broomstick. And again, as you can see, these are where the differences are coming in, because the tail looks nothing like this originally, so that really made it be an easier pull. And I did a reverse Frankenstein's wife hair. I even gave him the nails, which the original art has, but I made them even more sharper, clawier. You know, that actually sounds disgusting. I didn't even... Like, I made up that name, and it just sounds gross. And even though I copy and pasted for the right foot, the nails actually look really decent, but it's more so the one nail that doesn't as much. And right there, I actually went on the wrong layer. Because that's something that you guys don't see, me switching the layers, since you only see the general part of the actual art. You don't see the tiny little boxes that I'm constantly moving all the time, just to be like, no thank you. And right here, I added these little arrows for details, but also because I was like, it would look kind of cool in the fur. And then as I was making it, I had this thought of, wow, it really looks like one of those scaly sea creatures like you'd see in Atlantis. Kind of like an Aquaman creature. I don't know what it's called, though. Oh my gosh, it's not like any sort of serpent, but it's something. I know that. And hang on, guys. Sorry again, guys. Anyway, though, I ended up doing a gravestone because I had this little story for the Growlithe, and the number is 58. So you guys will get to see this nice little texturing thing that I did, where I actually got Clothify just right, and I love it because I did it and I was like, oh my god, this looks exactly like stone, and I did it on the writing, and when I did it on the writing, I was like, this looks perfect. And then I added dirt to it, and it's just like, beautiful. Beautiful. So, I'll see you guys in just a second. And with probably the most frustrating art recording that I have ever had. Seriously, like 12 minutes of just commentary that literally took me so gosh dang long. Anyway, though, this whole entire outro is recorded on a different day, the day that I'm doing the commentary, because there was a lot of problems that had happened, such as I was rushing and I forgot to record the outro, so I apologize for that. But we're doing it now, so it's okay. I do apologize that my commentary wasn't more so about the art, or that the art wasn't as great. Honestly, Cypher was kind of better, but I still do like this one in my own right. Well, in its own right. I don't know if I would have necessarily done anything different had it not been Halloween themed, but my choices were basically ghost and dark type, and it was kind of a weird mixture, just because I really didn't have much of anything in my head. I just was like, okay, I guess we can do this kind of idea. Anyway, though, the cool thing is that you guys still get the whole entire backstory, and it'll be all nice and fun, and the screen will look different. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoy.